Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, ESL Pro League, and the second matchup of the night, of course. Ooh. It is going to be Na'Vi versus HellRaisers. Snods, we are well fed and ready for this matchup.
I wish we had a bit more time to eat, but obviously, great Counter-Strike can never wait for those who are hungry, but we're hungry for some good CS.
We are indeed. Now, this is going to be a big matchup as well, right? Second matchup of the night. Obviously, what we were saying earlier, kind of the CIS regional matchup in the old days, maybe not anymore, but we do have plenty of Ukrainians left on HellRaisers, Angel and Bondik. Latest addition, obviously, he's been in and out of this lineup. Very good player. Thoughts on him re-entering the roster?
Great. You know, obviously, we could probably break down. Let's probably break down the roster itself.
Yeah.
Because there's such a storyline behind all of it, right? You have Zero taking a backseat, leaving the roster. You then bring in what? Fetch replace him. Obviously, this is Woxic and Issa that came in from last season, but into this season. Zero's out, you bring in Fetz to try and replace that sort of player, and Zero's quite a reserved, calm player. Fetz, you know, he actually was warping a few of the games as well at Star Series, I remember that.
Well, that was because Woxic actually wasn't able to attend the event. So the funny part is, they announced that. They got rid of Zero, they added in Fates, they qualified for Star Series.
And then Woxic can't go.
Oh, whoops, let's bring Fates and Zero together, despite one of them already being kicked. So yeah, Fates was on the York that event, but I mean, that was, they got third place without their best player, which I think is pretty sick.
Exactly. Then obviously you bring in Bondik, obviously, had his little stint with Tyloo, didn't really work out for him. Comes back in towards, I wouldn't say Europe, but we'll say the West, right?
Yeah.
Comes into the West, rejoins his former team, and I actually agree with this. Obviously for Fetz, you know, it's quite a shame, obviously. Oh, this is my pro debut, this is my dream, I've accomplished everything I wanted to. And then it all just goes out the window. Bondik says, I'm home. Comes in, walks through the door, and I think it's a great opportunity for HellRaisers, because think about what this team was lacking, right? You have Fetz, Woxic, Issa, Dead Fox, not really proven at the tier 1 level, but at least he has experience. And Angel as well, a great in-game leader. One of my favorite game leaders, actually.
Yeah, my favorite.
Very, probably top 2 easily. Very good at nurturing talent, also very good on the CT side, but we'll get into that in just a bit. But you bring in Bondik now. Obviously, the issue was before, you had Fetz, Woxic, Issa. They lacked experience, they lacked teamwork, they lacked cohesion. You bring in Bondik, another player that's going to bring in that communication, that teamwork, into this roster with the experience. So now it only nullifies their weaknesses, which was their LAN experience, and it exemplifies their strengths, which was the explosive power of Issa and Woxic. So now you have a player that's going to play supportive, going to be setting up those players, going to be flashing them in, taking the hits in terms of the economy potentially. He might be the one buying the UMP so that you can get the Molotovs, flashes and whatnot. To set up your explosive players, Woxic and Issa. So I actually think it's a great move. Unfortunate for Fetz, but, you know, everything can end in a storytell.
To be honest, I'd be interested to see how they place Bondik into the roster in terms of, do they keep Issa as a star player with Woxic, or do they try and put Bondik in that sort of role? Because when we saw Bondik stint in Tyloo, he was the star player for a point in that team. Bentet, originally the kind of crazy guy on that roster, he moved over to IGL for like 2 events, and for that he was bottom fragging every game. It was like, this is the best player on the team, he should not be cooling. And then Bondik, I remember, because I was at the ROG finals, and in the finals versus Gambit, he dropped 38 kills in the 16-14 loss. And at that point, I was just like, what more can the guy do? You know, he's trying to carry this team. And then when he came back here to HellRaisers, you know, his old home, I'm thinking, okay, this is again a chance for him. So yeah, we might have Issa as a star with Woxic, obviously, but Bondik, you know, maybe he'll take a more supportive role. Maybe we'll see him placed in a role to succeed. It'd be really interesting to see how HellRaisers and how Angel decides to kind of piece him into the puzzle.
Exactly. The big point here is Angel, how much of an impact he really has on the team, how good he is as an IGL as well. Obviously, there was the rumor when Zeus departed for Gambit, Angel coming in, all of those roster shuffle news going and floating about, but initially the reason, you know, it's definitely makes sense to have him in one of these top teams. In terms of in-game calling, very good at aggression. This is one of the things I really know. Whenever I'm watching the HellRaisers demos, I'm always left bemused or impressed is probably a better word, at just how strong their CT aggression is, how smart their CT aggression is, how well placed it is as well. You know, you can have these great setups, but if they're not placed in the right round at the right time versus the right opposition who are doing the right thing, it's not going to work. And I feel like Angel's very good at on-the-fly calling on the CT side. But yeah, I mean, it feels like he's never had the true talent to work with. He's constantly been left with roster shuffles, and almost as if his team's like a leapfrog. You know, you lose Oscar, you lose Stiko to Mouse Sports, and it seems like he builds these teams up to allow these players to develop, evolve, and flourish, and they get picked away from him. So hopefully we see a roster where it's more consistent, there's more stability there, and we see 3-4 months, you give him a roster and we see what happens. I think Angel's, you know, one of the best IGLs in the world. I think he's very undervalued.
Yeah, I think this is the best iteration of HellRaisers we've seen in quite a while. I think at least it has potential to be. Not only do we have Issa and Woxic proven now after joining this roster, we have Bondik who's been proven in other teams, and We know he's a strong player. Obviously, Angel, don't need to mention him. DevFox moving off the AWP and still staying in the roster was my biggest surprise. But to be honest, he's been getting a lot of hate. But I think, with the rifle, considering he moved from an AWP role, which he was very inconsistent at, moving to a rifle, I still think he's, he does his role. He's not that star player. He's not a flashy player, but he's supportive and he's there. And I still think DevFox gets a bit too much, rubbish when he's actually a good player. But we'll see how he fits into this roster now.
It's hard because I actually, when watching the demos, I noticed it as well. It caught me by surprise. I remember before Season 6, when they first brought Woxic or whatever, and he was AWPing over DevFox, initially I was like, okay, this is rather strange. And then going into Season 7, it sort of made more sense because how do you allocate your experience on this roster, right? So in terms of the CT side, okay, you've got 3 players at the time with no experience. Fetz, Woxic, Issa. You had 2 players with experience, Angel and Bondic. Obviously, how are you going to try to set up your CT sides? For example, in Inferno, it's, gosh, I can't remember all their names, it's shuffled, but it would be Bondic on one half of the map. Sorry, not Bondic. Apologies. DeadFox on one half of the map, and obviously Angel on the other half. It was, DeadFox towards B, and then obviously Angel towards the A side. And basically what it meant was you had 2 experienced players basically monitoring on a leash the lesser experienced players, and they developed themselves that way. I think it was a really smart way of doing it.
I wouldn't even say DevFox was, super experienced as well. Before HellRaisers, where was he? Exactly. So this team literally just had Angel in terms of experience, but now it's got a lot more. And let's at least look at the odds for this matchup. It's favouring Na'Vi, 1.7 to 2.05. I think that's okay.
I think I agree with those odds. It's fairly even. Obviously for Na'Vi, I mean, online Counter-Strike hasn't been the best of them recently. Obviously losing, what was it, 2-1 to... sorry, winning 2-1 by those who says LAN for the MDL qualified to be here in Pro League, to stay in Pro League. A loss versus North, when North had their first roster edition with Kiabi, and also they lost 0-2 to Epsilon. Owen Butterfield himself, Smooya.
I saw that game.
Yeah.
Very exciting. But this will be exciting, or even more so. HellRaisers on the CT side of Inferno for our first map. Second will be Overpass, and Na'Vi, bit of utility on Zeus. And they're going to be heavy up mid. Bondic's actually taken some aggression down towards the bottom of Banana, and that's forced Zeus back. He's got to be careful, because if he goes down, that's a utility gone for Na'Vi. We can't afford to see them with no nades into this pistol round if they have a set piece. But now, Electronic backing off, does take down Bondic with his aggression. Woxic looking to trade, and he succeeds in the first. But will he get more?
3 versus 4 here. Woxic eventually taking down DeadFox as well. The only line of defense towards the B bomb site now. And suddenly, from that 4 versus 3, a flurry of frags all go in favor of Natus Vincere. 3 versus 1 now. Angel desperately rotating in towards the A side. You can see Flamey as well as cleared out all towards A, in towards Pity. Found the final frag. That other player was lurking there. Angel to go for the desperate rotation after DeadFox died. And it all fell apart here for HellRaisers going forward. So 3 versus 1, bomb planted, has the defuse kit and Kevlar to back it up, but Electronic says otherwise.
4 kills on the pistol round. Great start for Electronic. Again, he was the player on flip side that was just destroying in pretty much every match he played. The star player for that team moved over to a team with stars on. I mean, look at Flamey and Simple, and I can name the whole roster. So he's fallen off. Oh, I wouldn't even say fallen off, but he's not had the performance he had in Flipside. Obviously, that was kind of a solo carry job. But now he's certainly pulling his own weight in this roster, and it's fun to see. But now HellRaisers on the force buy. We've got the Scout for Woxic, pistols on everyone else. Scout shot won't connect early. But Na'Vi, they've got triple SMG, so they're just going to be running and gunning this round, looking to take fast-paced control and take down HellRaisers, especially these unarmored players.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart as well come out from HellRaisers to not go for the full investment across the board. You can see only 3 sets of capital have invested into by HellRaisers. Interesting thing to note as well, Hugo, will we be seeing a double orb setup from the CT side of HellRaisers, obviously onto DeadFox and Woxic? Then again, the Molotov and the smoke will say otherwise. Flash comes in, great flashbang, but unfortunately Simple still able to find that frag towards middle. So 4 versus 5 now, man advantage for Na'Vi, and they can now work that lead.
Oh, the timing on the peak from Woxic as well. He could have caught Simple off guard, but instead it's Flaming to find Issa, bursting out the apartments for a second kill as well. And Na'Vi have taken this A site by storm. 2 players on HellRaisers now stuck on B, left to save, but Electronic, he's not letting them get aggressive on that rotate.
Yeah, very standard anti-eco here coming out from Inferno. You have 1 player towards T-stairs, you send 2 players in towards apartments, you also have 2 players towards Banana. They hold, they throw the grenades out early. This is one of the crucial things that we see from the more experienced teams, I feel like, when I'm watching the SKs, the Na'Vis, etc., is versus the anti-ecos, they use their grenades early, right? Molotovs top Banana, smoke out towards Arch. What that does is it forces out all of the little bit of utility that HellRaisers have. It might be 1 smoke, 1 Molotov, but if you can force that out early, it gives you a much greater chance of winning the round, and also finding that first frag towards mid definitely made things easier.
Oh, that's so unlucky on Bondic. Timing that he peeks to get that smoke down will actually get him caught off, so Edward finds that kill. Dead Fox may be able to line up a bit of damage here. He does! 2-3! Dead Fox! Talk about, well, I was going to say making money, but not with that CZ75. $100 per kill. Still, though, a bit of damage done. Na'Vi kept at bay, but they'll be able to reinvest. And we have HellRaisers on this eco once again. So just pistols in play here. Dead Fox still holding on to that SMG. Going to drop over the CZ to someone else. Na'Vi, I mean, this just means they can rebuy rifles. It means they won't be running MAC-10s for every round. Yeah, it could stop them from generating some cash on this anti-eco, but it just means they're going to be very confident here. They should be going 3-0 without losing a player, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's always two sides as well. In terms of the anti-ecos, it's not only frags and the SMGs. You could argue it's more important to have 4 or 5 players staying alive. So, speaking of 4 or 5 players staying alive, it's going to be down to 4. It's the first frag with the CZ. So, 5 versus 4. They have information, some information like that from Issa, charging in towards apartments. They're going to be grouping up towards middle, staying together as a unit, as a wolf pack essentially, so they can devour the ecos and also trade the frags and minimize risk.
Oh, Angel. Close on the peak. He swaps guns with Issa because this is already tagged up. That's good. But will Na'Vi commit towards short? Seems like they're going to be pushing everyone up the apartments in the meantime as well, taking a lot of control. There's the first spot. That's information. They need to play off the back of it. Take this 1v1 what they can. Wok6 alone, so he goes down straight away. And now it's the wrap. HellRaisers, they had a chance at least defending the site with pistols, but now trying to retake it, that's almost impossible. Na'Vi, they'll get a 3-0 surely at this point, as HellRaisers just look to do damage once again. Dead Fox not going to be able to get anything done with the MAC-10. He drops that utility. Bondic is now alone. And Na'Vi, this 3-0 wasn't too difficult. Aside from that first pick onto Flamey, they recover well. Yeah, crucial as well. 4 players staying alive into both rounds, I believe. So the money's going to be able to stack up. You can see already 7,000 there for both Simple and Edward. And if Edward keeps the MAC-10 as well, it's just going to be an apps burst. Obviously, have the MAC-10 close range versus potentially the non-head armored opposition, that being HellRaisers, but get in for a banana rush. Get in towards apartments and flash and try burst in and swarm into towards this A-bomb site. Obviously, time will tell. So coming up from HellRaisers here, no AWP coming for Wok6. That will be a big dent in the CT defense. Alongside that as well, the lack of Molotovs, also the lack of the defuse kit as well. So right now it's not looking too strong here for HellRaisers early on. And of course, we always talk about this rut that can happen for these teams in the CT side on Inferno, where you lack the AWP on the first buy round, you lack the Molotovs as well. You invest too hard into the force buy, and it leaves you rather lackluster as soon as you enter the buy rounds. Slow-paced attack towards Banana for Na'Vi. Dead Fox, he just spots the utility gone, so he's just got to fall off the second he sees a player there. That's why he has his knife out, just for the speed. Crossfire with Bondic from the site again, but it's a dangerous position for Dead Fox because he's, potentially going to leave his teammate completely alone. If they smoke CT, they're going to go for the boost. I like it. Dead Fox gets a better angle. His teammate can run back towards the site or wrap coffins, but Na'Vi are slow to commit. It's
a good setup here, Hugo. The problem is, look at the utility here for HellRaisers. They only have 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs, no defuse kits. HellRaisers can't really be playing for an afterplant or a retake scenario because, simply put, they haven't got the grenades or the firepower to really find success there.
Angel, deep smoke. This allows Na'Vi to potentially wrap towards B through the CT spawn, but with 30 seconds left, if that's going to be the plan, they have to commit. Instead, they bring the players off of B and actually look to take this A-bomb site, but Wok6 has a good angle on the corner. He finds one, not the second, as Edward trades out to the AK after that initial pick, and Flamey follows up into short. Na'Vi have decimated the A-bomb site once again. That's a really good attack, because now HellRaisers look to save the 2 guns towards B, and a 4-0 seems to be more than likely.
HellRaisers here, probably best option is to save. No defuse kits, obviously.
Has Simple crashed? Has Simple crashed? They're going to run out of time. There's 8 seconds left.
Yeah,
they've only just realised. They haven't even realised. Oh!
I think he's just played you as a fool, mate. I
thought he crashed.
I think he's giving extra time to hunt.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought he crashed because it looked like the bomb was kind of held in the middle.
I was looking at the desk and then I heard you panicking. I'm like, whoa, what's going on?
I was super scared. No, that would have been a horrible way to lose a round if you're Na'Vi, especially with HellRaisers saving. But no one was hunting. That's the thing. They weren't getting too aggressive when Simple was delaying that bomb plant.
Yeah, they're hoping that HellRaisers maybe gave a sound kill. Just an extra 5 seconds to try and hunt. But obviously the money is going to be in abundance for Na'Vi. And the same cannot be said for HellRaisers.
That's unlucky for Bondic. Actually, he gets his teammate killed and himself. He spots the gun of Simple, but he can't find the angle to get the frag. So both of them dead. Nice exits for Simple, despite the slow bomb part. 4-0 for Na'Vi. HellRaisers not much money to play with. This is going to have to be the eco.
So we saw this from Astralis versus LDLC, winning the pistol, winning the first buy round, and a lot of the times you win that first buy round in Inferno on your T side simply because of the lack of firepower in terms of M4s across the board, also looking at the AWP as well. including into that equation is going to be the utility and the defuse kits. Do you have the utilities to fend off aggression, let alone go for the retakes? And obviously having the defuse kits to reduce the defuse time is crucial. Grenade sailing out towards top of middle, sorry, towards top banana, but Issa fast towards apartments will find that one frag. So 5 versus 4 initially, but is it going to be enough? It's still a 2. Oh my gosh, Deadfox.
You hate to see that. Caught out of position, smoked down. Bondic just going to get decapitated as Zeus is running and gunning with a MAC-10. 4 on 3, and again, that's a site given up. That's HellRaisers left with pistols for the retake. Even with that first kill from Issa, there's surely nothing they can get done. It's reminiscent of an eco we saw prior for HellRaisers, and now ZCTs try and get anything done. They're going to be smoked out of the site. There's still plenty more where that came from Na'Vi. Woxic just holding for some form of exit. Angel as well towards the spawn. The teammate Issa just looks to hold onto his armor in the graveyard position on A. And Na'Vi, I mean, this is their round. It's just about how much damage can HellRaisers get done, or if they can get an AK and save. If you're clever here, if you're Na'Vi and you don't want to give away guns, the SMG chases, but these rifles don't need to. So Simple will line them both up. Zeus is essentially the bait with that MAC-10. And Issa, yeah, he'll hold onto his armor, but it's still Na'Vi 5-0.
Trying to save the Kevlar. Potentially going to be able to drop an AWP as well to Woxic into the next round.
Ooh.
I mean, all you can do with the MAC-10 is drop in for exit frags. I mean, $600 per frag is enough for a Molotov or a defuse kit flashbang. Anyway, enough of that. Let's see. Deadfox, they all have money to buy double up setup if they want to. Is Na'Vi a team that you want to be bringing a double up setup to on your CT side? I'm not sure. It depends. This is the question, right? What are Na'Vi known for? Great utility usage early on. Great at getting map control. Very good at the 30-second mark, the 20-second mark. So there's two sides to the coin. Cloud out of the major versus phase. One of the really strong points about having the double AWP was the fact that they could save utility. And obviously saving utility for as long as you can versus Na'Vi is crucial because we know they like to execute in the latter portions of the round. So having the double AWP set up extends your utility usage, so that could be a counter to it. But then again, it's hard to find the first picks here, Hugo, versus a team that's so good at flashing, using utility, trade fragging, and gaming map control.
Well, let's see if it works out. As Deadfox, he's sat on the B bomb site. Woxic's up towards A in the meantime, wrapping up long. And Na'Vi, they've hit heavy into mid. Flashes are through. Woxic has fallen back. He's got to be careful in this close corner as well because there's plenty of Na'Vi players there. I'll molly out the cubby, make sure that he's not peeking. But again, I mean, I don't expect Na'Vi to go for the take just yet. They're slowing things down. There's a minute left on the clock. Issa aggression and Apps finds one, and Woxic, he'll track Zeus trying to push in through the edge of that Molotov. So HellRaisers are 5-on-3 already to start things off. And Na'Vi weren't even looking like they were ready to execute. Caught out of position in the apartments. Zeus just going for a ballsy commitment. Luckily, Woxic will go down, so that's one of the AWPs dropped. But Bondic, he'll have to make up for that death. He will. Electronic's dead, and they can wrap back towards the library at least to hold on to this A bomb site, but leaving Simple alone in a 1v4. Surely undoable, but it is Simple.
Definitely a magician in terms of Counter-Strike. And eventually he'll be taken down there at ease. So, crucial thing here as well for HellRaisers is the fact that it's 4 players staying alive. It wasn't a close-fought matchup where it's, you know, 2 players can drop, or is it 1 versus 1? They have 4 players surviving. So, once the rebuy in terms of Kevlar and utility comes in for HellRaisers, how much cash are they going to have left? So, if they do lose the round, what? Deadfox will have 3,900. So, 3 players can buy next round if Na'Vi win this round. So it's not the worst for wear's possibility for HellRaisers. If they lost this one, they can still maybe have a decent buy in the next one. So the reset isn't too paramount or too crucial or too important, whatever you want to call it. But then again, for Na'Vi here, I mean, if they win this round and force the Eco Hugo, they're going to be running away with this lead early on.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is not the situation HellRaisers want to be in. The early rounds, as you said, were so dependent on them not having the weaponry, but now with the double AWP, this is their chance to shine on the CT side. Na'Vi towards the top of Banana once again, taking early control, but this does definitely not mean they're committing just yet. Slow for Simple, looking to maybe go for a bit of a jump onto the sandbags, try and get an off angle onto the CT spawn, but no one's fighting it. Bondic's playing passive there. We do have a 3rd player leaving this B site, so that's Angel. And Deadfox, he does find that shot onto Simple, who jumps around the corner, looking for more. Aggression with the AWP could be dangerous, especially with Zeus being back on that AWP. And in fact, he'll take down Bondic, but surely they won't expect Deadfox towards the CT spawn as well. Smoke down, bit of a gap in it for Deadfox to exploit, but he's flashed fully. And Na'Vi, good utility, but Deadfox will miss the no-scope. Zeus makes up for it. Na'Vi have the B-bomb site.
40 seconds left as the bomb is planted. So, 4 versus 3 man advantage for Na'Vi, of course. But they have the Molotov to flush out the T-players. They have the flashbangs to flash and go for the peak. It's all down to this next frag. It's so crucial. And now there's a chance for HellRaisers.
Yeah, but Izza's so slow on the rotation. He's still only leaving A. Woxic still watching his back side as well, just so Na'Vi don't flank and wrap Apps. They're not doing so. Flamey's going to die at the back of the boxes, and now Angel's going to push in because he's the only man even close to the site. It's his job to find this next kill. Electronic still going to be holding from this pillar position. Checks back towards the CT spawn. Angel trades. Now it's a 1v2, but Issa hits the shot. However, is there time? No. It's not going to be...
There is.
Oh, just, I think. Issa might be able to get it. Oh,
my goodness.
That was close. But hey, another round on the board for HellRaisers. They keep things in their stride despite losing 3 players. 2 alive, not the worst situation.
Yeah, great retake as well. You had a man advantage there for Na'Vi. 4 versus 3. I said this next kill is so crucial. If it's found for HellRaisers, a 3 versus 3, they have the Molotov to flash other players, they have the flashbangs to go for the retake. There's a chance. But conversely, if they lost that player, 4 versus 2, they're going to have to save in that scenario there, Hugo. So down to the wire, one defining frag definitely made it go in favour of the international now squad of HellRaisers. Nevertheless, though, some banana control coming out from the CT side. Electronic going to try and fight it.
Oh, he turns around as the flash comes in. That's so bad. He looks away when it was clear and then flicks back round as soon as it pops. Unlucky timing. He could have found that opening kill there, but instead it will go the way of HellRaisers. So Na'Vi now desperate for a rebuttal. Smoke set up towards A. Angel still probing in mid, looking to see if Na'Vi are going to commit towards this side of the map, because as you can see, HellRaisers have actually pre-rotated Bondic over. This leaves one man on B, but he's jump spotting for information. However, this is the kind of shot Simple can hit.
There's no utility though. He hasn't got a Molotov, a smoke, a flash to delay the likes of Na'Vi. It's all down to the rotation from Bondic. Can he try and hold them off and fend them off for long enough?
Smoke towards spawn, but counter smoke for Bondic. That will give ample time for HellRaisers to rotate if they do believe this is the commitment. Na'Vi, a confusing team at the best of times, so 50 seconds left as they begin to pour into the bomb site. Bondic can't find the angle. They emerge through the smoke. There's one. Looking for more. Bondic shuts down 2 players, and even though DevFox goes down, he's just holding on here. If he can find a third, that would be perfect, but there's no need for him to overface. He can wait for his team to rotate in with a double man advantage, even with the AWP. The Simple crosses towards a pillar that Electronic held in the previous round. Woxic rounds in through the coffins. Zeus holds close, and with a bit of a bait shot, HellRaisers just trying to provoke a reaction from Na'Vi. It's Simple to react, and he hits a shot onto Bondic. Follows up with a second, eventually traded by Woxic, and now it's all on Zeus. Holds close on the coffins. He'll catch the first, but damage ensued by the AWP. Zeus just runs back. Doesn't need to take the next fight. Issa turning back around, and Zeus, he may have caught him off guard, but Issa's going to jump on the bomb. Fake it. Force Zeus to go for the peak. He's just baiting out the shot. He knows he's not on the bomb. He can chase it. It's Zeus's round. He's won the clutch. And Na'Vi, they find 6.
Oh, it's just about to sing the praises there for DevFox. He played that round so well. Yeah. He realized he ran out of utility. He couldn't play on the site. Okay, if he's playing towards default, playing towards CT, he had no counter grenades. He had no utility to delay Na'Vi to come in towards the bomb site, to delay enough for the rotations. Instead, he jump spotted, he found the early information, gave enough time for the rotation for Bondic, and I thought, congratulations there, HellRaisers. Shout out to Bondic, he's played that phenomenally. Yeah. Instead, though, you can never count Simple out with that AWP. Playing in towards the back boxes, able to find the crucial 2 frags and leave Zeus in the 1 versus 2. And it gives them their 6th round, and potential paranoia now for HellRaisers going forward in terms of their economy going into the further half. UMP there for Bondic, a scout now for Woxic instead of the AWP. We know how explosive and dynamic and flamboyant we want to see him with the AWP and get aggressive. Instead, deducted down to the scout. Will that hamper their play? Most definitely. So, once again for HellRaisers, great banana control. Seems like they're very good at that, as they can leave DevFox there. The problem is right now there's 1 smoke onto Bondic. But how long will they have that smoke for? Flashbang comes in, a peek from Angel. So they might actually rotate Angel back towards the B site after spotting no one towards mid.
Dangerous, but luckily he just wraps around A, so they have the triple short setup. Good for controlling apps bursts, but Na'Vi, well, they were tempted to go towards the apartments, and now heavy in middle. Edward coming out of the boiler at the same time, so they essentially had a 2-pronged attack towards this part of the map. A peek out from Woxic won't find anything. Angel is going to try and make up for that, but he only does damage to Edward. This is starting to look scary, because not only do Na'Vi have a lot of map control after wrapping long, but HellRaisers have no idea. Finally, Angel going to realize, and he takes 2 kills. Drops bomb as well, looking for a third, but Edward's there to trade. Still, Na'Vi, they do have the option to go for that split towards B, but they're running out of time, and frankly, they don't have any banana control. DevFox is still there. A is looking like the prime place to attack right now, but they still have to clear out Woxic at the back of the site.
Incredible how you don't see Na'Vi ever panic. Calm, collected, they use their grenades while the flash comes in, and here comes the execution towards the A side. 15 seconds left.
Issa, he's missing some crucial shots as well. Woxic can't make up for it. Bondic going to find one. Finally, Issa from the pit does damage, and the plant will come in the nick of time, but it's a 1v3 for Edward, and he's just not ready for it. Pulls out his gun a little too late, and DevFox will be able to secure that retake. Great pit play, though, from Issa.
Great indeed, obviously. Not overfacing, doesn't give away that frag to open up the arch wrap, stays alive, finds one frag, he cowers, he stays alive, he waits and waits and waits. But yeah, I just want to say hats off to Na'Vi again, a team where they're so composed under pressure. It's incredible, really, how good their late round calling is and how calm they can be to make such decisive calls. I mean, there's 25 seconds left. You see, they use their smokes, they're calm, they're discussing what they have, they're discussing their options, they come back to the 3-man, play towards the late side. That's the best possible opportunity they had.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see some kind of B-Rap in there, but the main issue was Deadfox's aggression down Banana, right? You talked about how HellRaisers, I mean, they're a team that's very good on the CT side of Inferno. From what I've seen, at least, especially in last season of EPL, they came 6th place, and also I think they landed 5th to 6th of the finals. They had a great performance there as well, losing to Misfit. So, you know, this team is improving leaps and bounds. Now with the addition of Bondic, I expect that to remain strong. But still Na'Vi in the lead for the time being, despite HellRaisers picking up the previous round. We're going to have this pause that you can see on your screen. So Na'Vi trying to work out how they want to approach this next buy, or eco for that matter. How they want to put their money together. And they put their money where their mouth is. Very confident.
It is. This is one of the turning point rounds I always talk about. Look at the money for both teams. Both of these teams are scarce for money. Both of these teams
That's why Na'Vi
they're terrified of having their money reset back to 0, back to that 1.4k round loss bonus. So for Na'Vi, if they win this round here, Hugo, we could be seeing a 9-6 advantage, an 8-3 minimum advantage. Massive turn of tides in terms of the eventual outcome. But then again, HellRaisers win this one. They force weak buys again for Na'Vi. They can bring this one back 5-6 or 6-6.
The reason this is actually really good for Na'Vi is as well because they have 6-3, right? So even if they lose this, then they have to throw in an eco. It doesn't matter. They're still in the lead, you know. HellRaisers aren't going to come back until Na'Vi have guns. So, you know, Na'Vi really don't mind about going for this force. They've got the damage in, and they're looking to turn it into success, as this 1 AK on Edward is going to be pivotal to said success. He's up in the apartments with Flamey.
So default coming out for both teams, really. One player playing towards CT. You've also got, on the walls, that B-bomb. So also going to have Bondic as well playing. Actually, the boosted angle here is one of the things we see a lot from Karrigan and Nico playing on towards that B-bomb. So had the boost towards quad, find that one frag, dip down in towards quad. Karrigan will flash for Nico, and he goes for the reface. But nevertheless, flash being primed here. One of the really strong strats we see from Na'Vi is the apps burst they have. It's very, very prolific. The problem is, though, look how far back HellRaisers are. They're in a very good position.
Oh, he just ran right into the apps. He finds a kill, but surely that's not worth it. He gives away an AK that Electronic will go and pick up after finding a trade, and he'll follow up onto Woxic. That play from Issa may have cost him the round. Angel's going to have to make up for it. There's one from the back of the site, but Electronic, a 3rd kill from that gifted AK-47. And HellRaisers, they're not going to be too happy about that one. Surely the save has got to be called.
I was just saying, HellRaisers are in such a strong position to hold versus an apps burst. You have a player on towards default, you have the player on the balcony as well, so when they jump out, he shoots them from behind. Thing is, Na'Vi have a very strong apps burst. What they do is they have 2 through boiler. Simple flat, obviously, usually has the AWP, had the AWP in the last round as well. The AWP obviously flashed out the AKs in that sort of burst. But back to the point, you have Edward and co, one other player, I believe it's Flamey, coming in towards boiler. They just wait patiently. Then you also have Simple flashing 2 other players towards apartments, and they smoke arch, and they go so fast out through boiler and through apartments, and they squeeze quad. The issue is, it's very good versus quad setups. We saw HellRaisers going for a double quad setup earlier on as well, which is why I believe Zeus called it. The issue is, though, usually it's very bad versus teams where they play on the sites. Play towards mini pit, play far back. Obviously, the flashes don't connect as well. They're far back in terms of distance. They're playing headshot angles, very hard to frag and trade frag. Problem is, somehow, some way, Issa goes 1 for 1, gives away their opening, and then suddenly there's a massive loophole in your defense towards A, and it's very easy for them to basically clean up the rest of the scattered frags across that B side.
Wow, Na'Vi's force definitely panned out. Luckily enough, HellRaisers are confident enough to commit with the buy with this save, so they've got rifles to play with, but utility is the main issue of this one starts.
This buy might be better than the last one they had, actually, to be honest. So, 3-7. What were you about to say, sorry?
I was about to say no AWP. They've got the scout onto Woxic. That is one thing that they are lacking.
No Kevlar as well on that scout. Usually you'd see what? CZ, Kevlar, you know, smoke flash maybe, try smoke out mid, smoke out banana and delay them, but nevertheless we know how good Woxic can be with those scoped weapons. Now then, 1 minute 15 left on the clock here. Same default coming out from Na'Vi. 1 towards T-stairs holding for the mid-aggression, usually the AWP, but that's simple. 2 players towards apartments, 2 players towards B. You take control of banana, simultaneously take control of apartments. You leave 1 player, usually it's electronic for Na'Vi, towards B. They go back, they take mid, and they have map control, and they make their final decisive mid-round call. You know, 30 seconds, but it's Na'Vi, so we'll say 20.
Maybe even 10. Zeus, I think he's been spotted. Bondic wide strafe there from the site, so he has a bit of information to play off of. And considering he has DevFox in his position, there's no reason that Bondic should be going and facing wide, or at least taking the fight in that phase, because he has this crossfire. But that should draw the attention. Electronic dead is a big kill. And now Na'Vi going to be scared about the site, so they may actually, maybe not check this position that DevFox is on. It makes it all the more lethal. Flash set up for Simple, going to go in towards a CT spawn. DevFox playing anti-flash, ready for that. Zeus is going to cross, and there we go. They don't check the corner as DevFox finds a frag. Actually, it's Bondic to double down with 2 kills instead. Completely caught me off guard, and especially Na'Vi now with 15 seconds left. They're running out of time, running out of options, and it seems like it's going to be HellRaisers back on the board with 1.
Gonna have to save here if you're Na'Vi. One of the big issues we sometimes see from Na'Vi is when they save their weapons, be it 2 weapons or 3, they sometimes force around them, and it begins a big rut where they're always on weak or semi-weak buys.
Ooh.
Okay. So, are Na'Vi going to force around this? Yes is the quick, simple answer to that. So, the issue here, Hugo, is sometimes Na'Vi overforce these sort of scenarios. Na'Vi, when they save 2 weapons, obviously, you get no round loss bonus when you don't get the bomb planted, so you're left with, $0 in your bank, but you have an AK and an AWP, so you think, okay, let's force around this. Electronic will drop over an AK so they can play past the parcel with the AK.
He's on a Glock.
Yeah, but he can play past the parcel, let's see. The issue here is, though, Hugo, is they can get themselves in a rut. Hopefully, Zeus and Co can prove me wrong. Let's see how it does pan out.
Simple even has a PT-50. I'd like to see that thrown over to Electronic, but...
That's very true.
And again, Simple with the secondary gun. That's not really a complaint, right? HellRaisers early damage received onto Bondic and DevFox on that banana control, so Na'Vi already, well, managing to exploit HellRaisers setup somewhat, as now we see a wrap back towards A for Angel, so the 3-man A setup does continue as Woxic's posted close, this time with the AWP as well, so he doesn't have to aim for those headshots like he has been with the Scout. And Zeus, past the parcel, has ensued. He's now the man on the Glock, Electronic with the gun. Definitely a better decision in my opinion. The smoke over DevFox's utility is going to be forced out, but they're not committing. Na'Vi are just trying to bait out these nades from HellRaisers. This could either stop them from, holding off onto a late round B take, or even on the retake. HellRaisers won't have those nades now.
Great information found by DevFox, but unfortunately no rotation is going to come out of it. He has the info there's no one pushing through that B smoke when they smoke towards CT, but not the extra man being rotated towards the A site from HellRaisers. So, Woxic playing in towards library, very easy for him to be smoked off or smoked off towards mini pit, and basically blocked out of this round. If you just leave Angel alone with Isra as well towards the balcony, this could definitely be Na'Vi's round unless you peek into an AWP.
Oh, twice as well. Woxic, he's decimating Na'Vi now, as they aren't even going to continue with this wrap. They slow it down. Molotov up in the library may stop Woxic from re-peeking, but he can easily just wait for that to burn out. It's only 7 seconds, and Na'Vi don't have a lot of time to waste. 15 on the clock as Flamey is yet to begin wrapping this A-bomb site. Iss is dead from the pit, and Flamey expects that position, but he knows Woxic's still here, so he's got to be careful. Running away, Woxic will hunt, and that's got to be it. HellRaisers again, another round on the board due to Na'Vi leaving it too little and too late.
Time. I think he died after time. How much
and
money?
an AWP dropped. Yeah.
How much money's...
Yeah, hate
this is what I mean. This is one of the story arcs we see a lot with Na'Vi where they play down to the clock, 15 seconds, 11 seconds, right? The issue is they have one fault in their execution. They say complexity is the enemy of execution, in a sense of you leave everything down to the wire, 15 seconds left, it's so complex, what grenades have we got left? Let's over-rotate, let's force these rotations out, let's draw out all the utility. The problem is when it's so complex, it leaves so many chances for your execution to falter, and we just saw it there. They lose that first player towards Arch, or first 2 players, sorry, towards Arch with 20 seconds left from Woxic. 1 Molotov comes out towards Quad, and the round is over. They're forced to save their 2 weapons they have left. And the issue is, Na'Vi are a team that we know how easy and how quick Zeus is to pull the trigger on going for a force buy, especially when he saves 2 weapons as well. So it gets them into this rut where they constantly overbuy and overbuy and overbuy, never really have a strong buy going into these final few rounds. Once again, Edward on an AK Kevlar.
I mean, yeah, that's saved. He's just trying to look for any kind of opening kill. But the thing is, with Glocks to follow up, even if he finds an opening kill, if there's an instant trade from HellRaisers, they can just mow down these Glock players before they even pick up guns. So that's the only scary factor. Flamey has a Deagle. Let's see if he can get anything done with that, but it's going to be starting to wrap the A site. Zeus up through Arch, he's blind, and so is Angel tagged up. Still gets a kill on 4 HP. That's a surprise. Still committed to the angle, which is a bigger surprise. Needs to smoke that off, but it misses. That will allow Na'Vi to push up, and it will also allow Angel to get another frag. There's 2, and a 3rd with the USP. Why not? Simple dead, and Electronic to trade. He's going to have to be the man to step up, because Flamey's alone on B. And Electronic, he's got an AK, but no armor to play with. Flamey can just find anything here, then Electronic could potentially wrap through this CT spawn and go into this B site. But with 20 seconds left, the the pressure is on Flamey more so than Electronic.
Electronic then last alive. 14 seconds left. No chance to even get the bomb down, potentially even have any inkling of success. 7, 5. Just going to plant the bomb and hope he dies before time. Yeah. So
enough.
We'll get the round loss bonus going forward. Na'Vi now. 7 to 6, and this would be the round where the previous round would have been the one where they went for the 4-buy. What's caught your gaze?
The buy from Na'Vi. I don't know. 2 players with no loss, and so they go for the force here. Like, you could make an argument for it, but the utility is quite limited in terms of Molotovs. We've only got 1 across the entire team. CZ, UMP. I don't know. I feel like Na'Vi could get more done with this. The reason is they want 9 rounds and a half, not 8 as a max, right? Because if they eco this one, then the max they can really get is 8. So it makes some sense, but I mean, they've already got a strong T side. This is just excessive, in my opinion. But that's what Na'Vi's known for.
1 minute 30 then as early on in terms of exchanges. There isn't really much, you know. You have banana control coming up from HellRaisers again. One of the salient points we always discuss about HellRaisers or the CIS teams, well, argue back and forth about that one for HellRaisers, but is there strong banana control? So, Dead Fox jump spotting towards Banana, has that information, but there's not an extra player rotating, and Angel's going to be left potentially alone here towards...
Oh, that's a good Molotov, but they just bypass it. Issa from the pit finds one, and Woxic will actually chime in with the AWP, but the smoke's come down, so he surely can't do anything more. All 3 players on the site, and again, Woxic mollied out of position. Electronic still going to be looking for the bomb. It's actually up on the balcony, so he finds it eventually, but that just gives more time for HellRaisers to set up for this retake. Bondic's pushed up short. We've got a player up in the apartments. Bondic actually going to push round the Molotov, but he's making a lot of noise, so they should know he's here. Electronic checking the apps as well, so definitely aware of the positions that HellRaisers are retaking from, at least aware of the possibility as Bondic looks to make his way up. Timed well with the peek from Dead Fox, but he's already dead. Woxic finds a shot with the AWP, and now things starting to look up for HellRaisers and then look down. Woxic's now alone. With the money in a bit of a state for HellRaisers, maybe they should consider saving this, but nope. Woxic will get just shot down by Flamey from the pit, and that'll be Na'Vi finding their 8th round. So the force buy works out. The HellRaisers, they should just have enough to buy for the last round of the half.
6 to 8 then, 2-round deficit here for HellRaisers on the CT side, and usually in Inferno you are expecting the CT side starts, or let's say sided in terms of 9-6, 8-7s in favor of the CT side, obviously. Issue is, the T side pistol is so monumental in Inferno, I feel like. Winning that T side pistol makes a massive difference. Speaking of differences, obviously winning the AWP duel as well simplifies the scalp of Dead Fox. 5 vs 4, they might actually pounce on the B bomb site momentarily off of that first frag towards the B site. Smokes come in, but once again, can it be utilized by Angel in his advantage? I
mean, he's so fast to rotate every single time, so they get the pick, but as Na'Vi commonly do, they don't execute off the back of that pick, and rightly so, because HellRaisers still have 2 towards A and 2 towards B, so Na'Vi may reconsider. With HellRaisers settling back into a 2-2 setup, the A side looks even more takeable here now for the T side. With a minute left on the clock, this is more time than Na'Vi's used to, as they're starting to set up towards middle. Is trying to spot the boiler, but he's got no information towards middle. That's going to be on Woxic's, at least angle, holding from long with the AWP. Flash up, that's him blind as well, so Na'Vi's starting to push up. Does counter with a flashbang of his own and falls off a little bit, but Na'Vi... Oh, just making it around the corner in time. Woxic tagged, but only to 92. It's not that much damage despite it being a dink through the edge of the wall. And with that Molotov, he can't even play the corner anymore. He's got to give everything up to Na'Vi. So great at gaining this map control. And off the back of that, they're going to split in towards B. They've got 2 players towards the top of Banana. And this is going to have to be a big hold from HellRaisers.
30 seconds left. The Molotovs have been dished out. Edward coming in from CT. Actually does get split out though. Can Zeus get the trade frag? He can. Wonder goes 1 for 1, but Angel trying to see if he can change that. Finds 1 frag, darting around the pillar. Finds 2, and suddenly we're left into a stalemate. 2 versus 2. Flame of 37 points of health. Simple with the AWP. This is one of the biggest difference makers we've seen so far on Inferno. Is Simple's AWP towards his B-bomb site in the afterplan. Yeah, and he's up against Woxic as well. 2-star AWPers for their teams. Will Woxic expect the angle? Of course, they have to go for this retake on the last round of the half, but if Issa can find the opening kill, maybe they can pinpoint Simple's position. Flamey off angle will catch out Issa, doesn't expect the corner. Woxic jumping round, but he gets tagged in the legs. And now Simple, he's aware of it, so he knows his last player is low, and Flamey will just clean up the job. It's a nice round for Na'Vi, and they will take the half 9-6 in their favor. So actually a pretty decent half on that T side, I would say. Oh, very decent. Obviously, as I said before, you know, expecting more of that CT lenience in terms of the rounds and how it eventually concludes. You know, 9-6s, 8-7s, definitely not uncommon in favor of the defensive side. But yeah, for Na'Vi, I mean, what was it, 5-0 lead, I think, or 6-1 or something along those lines. 6-1 lead, they have an early advantage going forward, as we said before, you know, regardless of how this one ends, they're still going to be fairly happy with this half. And yeah, I mean, they go for the audacious force buy, they take the high risk, but with high risk comes high reward, and that being 9 rounds on the T side.
Yeah, great half again. Now, I'm slightly worried. I was coming into this matchup. I mean, we were both saying, you know, there's great potential for upset here with HellRaisers. I mean, if you even regard it as an upset, right? With Na'Vi being so inconsistent online, you know, HellRaisers beating them, is that a shock? I don't know.
Online as well, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, HellRaisers is great in an online team that's great online. Not to call them online, of course they show up on LAN, but they're great at qualifying for all these, you know, DreamHacks, the Star Series, etc. So
Katowice as well.
Katowice, so yeah, like, you know, HellRaisers is not a team that's you know, at least scared of playing online matches. So I thought they'd do a little bit better on their CT side of Inferno. However, we get to see how their executes go. We get to see Na'Vi's defense, of course. The double AWP potential on the CT side of Na'Vi could be fun, even in addition. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really close game. I think HellRaisers have still got a chance to pull this one back.
Most definitely. I think, you know, I don't want to say it's an issue, but I feel like there's such a big lenience now, or a pull right now from this T-side pistol. It feels like if you don't win the T-side pistol, you give up Molotovs and so much utility in favor of the CT side into the first buy round, and then the CTs can snowball it. Conversely, you know, you win that T-pistol and the CT's forced, then suddenly the players towards Banana don't have the Molotovs to then take Banana control, and then it brings up this big snowball where it builds and builds and builds, where the salient point is obviously lack of economy, lack of Molotovs, lack of AWPs potentially as well for the CT side, and it's very easy for the Ts just to run over and basically extend their lead. So for me, it all comes down to the pistol. HellRaisers win their T-pistol. I think we could be in for a matchup. Otherwise, I think Na'Vi clean this one up 16-9.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. And of course, 9-6 halves are not just on the B stream. On the main stream, we have Mousesports 9-6 up against Fnatic on their first map as well. So that's actually quite good. Fnatic, a team that actually started to look very good towards the latter stage of this year. They got through the playoffs of the major, struggled there. But, I mean, apart from that, they've looked pretty strong, and so Mousesports to already be winning against them in the first matchup is nice to see. I like Mousesports. I like their roster.
Definitely. A quick note as well is HellRaisers is actually beating out Mousesports to go on to qualify for IM Katowice in 2 weeks' time. So obviously it goes to show you know, how level these online teams are when it comes to the online qualifiers. One, any team can beat any team on the day.
I think the big surprise as well of Katowice, just touching on that quickly, is I'm not sure if you saw, but Avangard qualified.
Oh, they beat Agoa, correct?
Agoa in the final, yeah, 2-0.
Not so bad for Agoa.
I know, Poland.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks. But I mean, Avangard, a team that, you know, for me, going into, as I cast them in the CIS minor and seeing them go to the major, I was thinking, okay, you know, this team I think they could do well. It's actually QB to do better than Avangard. But I still think Avangard's a very good team, and I think it's actually shocked a lot of people that they've qualified for Katowice, not through a regional qualifier, you know, because we have that whole debate with minors, you know, and Asian minor, CIS minor, etc. But they qualified through the European.
Yeah, I believe they beat Ago, they beat Space Soldiers, Mousesport. They beat a lot of teams.
Yeah, they did really well. So we'll be seeing that IEM Katowice next week. Either way, let's stick with the here and the now. It is ESL Pro League Season 7, and Na'Vi up 9-6 on the half. Lots of utility for HellRaisers here. What could we be seeing? 5
is a Kevlar coming out for the CT side, Hugo, so this might be aggression early on. But already 3 towards A and 2 towards B, so this might be fast down Banana and fast down mid. No, this is strange right now. They have no defuse kits. They have to get early frags here, Hugo.
Yeah, smoke towards mid allows HellRaisers just to speed up the pace. It's not Na'Vi rushing, it's the T's instead. Electronics caught towards the back of the pit, and this utility so far is paying its worth in gold, really. They haven't found the kills to follow up with it, as Angel does take down 1. Flamey gets 2 from the back of the site, but it just leaves Bondic. With Flamey very low, somehow he gets the 3rd kill, but I was about to say, Bondic still had an opportunity back into that round. That seemed good for HellRaisers, and just stripped away from them with the kills coming through for Na'Vi.
Oh yeah, it looked great for them. Obviously, for Na'Vi going for the 5, you know, man Kevlar buy. A lot of the times you see aggression. You know, you look at overpass is going to be potentially what 3 towards connector, or 2 towards B short, 2 peak monster, or train, 3 push alley, 2 push alley, somewhere along those lines, right? Usually, when you lack the kit, you make up for the kit in information
and an early pick as well.
Exactly, right. So you go for the aggressive peak, but unfortunately for Na'Vi, they played it. Fortunately for Na'Vi, they played it passive, and HellRaisers walked into that. Obviously, what's so crucial when you don't have a kit on your CT side pistol is getting the early frags before the bomb is planted. Obviously, what better can it be when you win the round and the bomb wasn't planted? So, leaves a sour taste in the mouth of HellRaisers now as they have to go for the force buy across the board. You can see as well, Woxic's going to be joining into the force buy. So he has got Kevlar, CZ, and Smoke, which means going into the first buy, we could be seeing a lack of that AWP for the Turkish star himself. But 10-6 here. Obviously for Na'Vi as well, they win versus the Force Buy. It's going to be an Eco coming out from HellRaisers, so a high chance we see a 12-6 scoreline. And obviously at that point, you're doubling the scoreline of your position. You're on your CT favored side. You have the economy, which you've already spoken about, is so important on Inferno, going into the buy rounds. And everything really is going your way for Na'Vi. So far, it's looking good.
Let's see what HellRaisers can get done with the pistols at least. Zeus is forced off the angle on long as he gets smoked, and they'll actually start to wrap up towards B. They haven't taken Banana yet, though. Edward's still there, so they need to clear this angle. They do. Angel finds a big pick, and now Simple's in a very compromising position. Not only are they rushing up through the CT spawn, but they've got Banana as well. His team are flurrying in with the rotations, but Simple's still going to need a good couple of kills to delay. There's one. Won't follow up. It's Bondic with the CZ75 and an M4 gifted the way of HellRaisers. As that now they can get the plant in. They don't have utility for the post plant, but it's a 3-on-3. Electronic comes in at least with one, but HellRaisers are stacked up towards Ruins here. This could be good, but Zeus, 2 kills of the UMP. Not always the man that I'd be yelling the name of, but he is looking very good. As Angel's now in a 1v3, he's got to take a range fight with the UMP, and that is not going to work, Snods.
Yeah, all 3 players there piling up towards Ruin. Obviously, you saw for Na'Vi, they were clearing out all these angles towards Banana, towards the Dark, towards Emo, towards the Pillar, towards the Orange, towards the first, second Oranges, towards back boxes. But actually, there for HellRaisers, all stacking up towards potential panic. Obviously, they find the frag. Oh my god, where do we go? We have an M4. What do we do with it? What do we do with it? But yeah, 11-6 here. Should be the Eco coming out from HellRaisers, and it will be obviously Angel finding a few frags there with the UMP, which means versus Na'Vi when they had the 4-buy, which means they can invest into the Deagle and the P250 here and a CZ there. But apart from that, it will be the Eco across the board into round number 18. And already, actually, with the Deagle, he finds one.
Simple as well. That's a big kill to take. So HellRaisers, they're going to try and swoop in on that weapon. Na'Vi don't want to give them the satisfaction. The orb's taken from Deadbox, but taken no further. Zeus, again, lines up 2 headshots. Now with 2 players left up for HellRaisers, they've got a very sticky situation to get themselves out of. The orb is still dropped towards middle. I think they still have access to that. But look at how we've got a bit of a creep route on the A-bomb side. Bondic snuck through the apartments, however, he'll get shut down. Na'Vi don't give him anything. Orb taken for Angel, and he may just look to save it onto this gun in the next round, but no, he looks to get rid of it. That's clever. Don't allow Na'Vi to pick it back up, make them reinvest for it. And even if Angel goes down here, which we're expecting, it's still, you know, still only an eco for HellRaisers. They can buy up next round.
So, as predicted, 12-6 as we go into round number 19. Orb will be bought up now for Woxic, obviously getting the bomb down in the last round, which means they can't afford it.
He can get armor. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's just sometimes you see AWPers pick up a bit of utility over Kevlar. And I always think, ooh, a bit dangerous.
It depends
especially
on the round.
with SMGs.
Yeah, it depends on the round, obviously. It's like, are they trying to go for picks with the AWP? If you go for picks with the AWP, fair enough. Especially in a map like Inferno as well. What is your job as the AWPer, right? Yeah. You hold Banana peak, you then take Banana control essentially to a certain degree. You can then peek towards, what? Quad, towards Arch, and then your job's basically done. What more do you have to do?
I would say on the CT side, going for utility is a safe bet. You know, you can run glass cannon on CT easier, but on T side, it's just so hard.
Oh yeah, it's very different when you're the one peeking into them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Either way, he's going to get the armor, so it's not an issue for now, although maybe he's very glad about that armor because he just got sprayed through the smoke. Zeus trying to nade out through middle as well, doesn't get caught out of position. That nade does damage, and Flamey looking to do more as well. He's called in for support. Edward's there, and with that kill they may think Arch is clear, but it's not. Doesn't matter, Deadbox is wrapped and found 2 headshots. It's going to be Flamey to defend, and Electronic from the pit, somehow mowing them down. How does he do it with the MP9? I don't know. But it's Na'Vi to find their 13th round off the back of a huge play from Electronic. Almost 20 kills this map.
What? MP9 at that range, 3 frags as well. Doesn't even have to go for the reload. 13-6. I mean, that might be the end of it here for HellRaisers, obviously. There you go for the Arch trap. They found the frag towards Arch. There was the extra play there. Obviously, he was trying to bait, hoping that they would go for a CT wrap towards B. They found the extra frag as well towards Arch. They find both, towards Mini Pit, towards the A site. All just Electronic and Flamey. Flamey from behind towards Library. Electronic in towards Pit, able to devise a strong enough defense to hold off the line there towards the safe site. So that leaves another impending round for HellRaisers where we coulda, shoulda, woulda won that round. And it all comes down to these little tiny differences, right? But nevertheless, back onto pistols here. Simple playing a slight off angle with the AWP. Problem is, though, not really much of a margin there for your flick. Let's see if it will actually be tested, though.
Well, not for now. The smoke's down. And HellRaisers, they may burst through it with pistols. That's a good idea. Flash to assist them, but there's no one there for Na'Vi. However, that flash gives away the fact that HellRaisers have taken top Banana control. So Na'Vi looking to maybe rotate Zeus in to position. He's in the CT spawn already, ready and waiting. But HellRaisers, they got the smokes for this execute. Can throw it down towards the CT spawn and go for the push, but Na'Vi, they have the Molotovs to counter, or at least Simple does. Throws his down. But the smoke going to last for longer, so HellRaisers can still commit. However, that smoke will certainly make them question this push. Again, they have pistols. They could just burst through the flashbang, but Na'Vi have a big defense here. They've got that third player wrapped on in that Zeus. Simple, a shot that he should not be missing, and Edward will make up for it, but only for one. Smoke fades, and Zeus strikes. There's another kill from Simple. Pistol out, not enough. Issa trades, and Zeus, he's the man getting this all done on the site. The anchor to be finds 2 frags, and Woxic alone on the site. Zeus finds a third. He's having a great game.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, obviously, you remember the retake as well towards Ruin.
Yeah.
Had those crazy, double flick or triple flick with the MP9, I believe it was. So, definitely hot on form. Electronic as well delivering. It's all what you want, really, for Na'Vi. I mean, there's such a... I mean, when you think about all of the parts of this roster, right?
Yeah.
Zeus, major champion in-game leader. You've then got Simple, top 3 player individually in the world. Electronic, up there in terms of skill, in terms of firepower. Across all players in terms of caliber of performance and firepower. Flamey, a player that you kind of want in the team where he has those games. I mean, go back to I think he's set the record now, hasn't he, for the most kills in one half in a professional match? 34.
I think 34. Yeah. He just beat World at it.
Yeah, it was 31 on Train versus Echo Fox. But yeah, as I said before, right, you've got Flamey, who's not the most consistent player, but at the end of the day, you want a player sometimes like an Apex almost where if he goes off, it's almost as if there's no way you can lose. The frags he finds are so crucial. They're so impactful. He's putting in so much fear as well into his opposition. He plays very important roles as well when he's playing his sites. Playing in towards, playing in towards Arch, playing in towards Quad and whatnot. Having such a strong player in those scenarios where they have games where they pop off. I mean, if your pit player is having the game of his life, it's very hard to lose CT side Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, he's reliable. I'd say that's the best word for him. A very reliable
But he
player.
has those games.
Definitely. He has that skill ceiling.
And then to Edward, obviously more of a supportive role, obviously all the way back from 1.6, the history from that.
Yeah, I'd say on this roster, there's some of the most experience out of any of the CS rosters currently together.
I'd say
the years that go back.
100%,
yeah, this is a big one. But they're proving it so far on their first map. However, Woxic, he wants to change the tide. As he takes down Simple on B. Moves out of the molly as well, so won't take too much damage. However, I don't think they know that Edward's got himself this deep in that position. This could be a bit of a catch.
They checked it earlier, though, when they were on a 4 spy. I wonder if they check it now that they're actually on a 4 buy.
Oh, DevFox won't. Edward finds that kill, so there's the opener for Na'Vi that can pull it back, but he's still stuck here. He hasn't got utility to get himself out. The player to rotate in hasn't got nades, but luckily he has got headshots. Zeus finds a shot onto Woxic. Edward gets traded, but the smoke goes down, so it still allows Zeus to maintain aggressive banana control. This actually forces HellRaisers up to A, and Flamey's expecting it. The secondary ult for this team finds the next shot. So Issa dead now means HellRaisers with 30 seconds left, 2 players up, trying to fight their way back, but they're being flanked, and they don't expect it. Zeus whiffs his shot after a great game, and that's given an opener to HellRaisers. They can wrap back towards B.
Game of cat and mouse right now, which...
Ooh, they've got the smoke.
Set Geo is going to make it their first. They have the fuse kits here for Na'Vi, but do they smoke the cross in time? They do. So Angel's low, has the AWP as well towards Banana. This is crucial here, Hugo.
Flamey, is he going to run through? No, they're going to boost. They might be able to catch it in time. The bomb just gets planted, and Angel now ready in a 1v2. AWP scope, not the gun he's known for.
All comes down to the trade frag. Obviously, if Na'Vi peak before the trade frag can come in, definite chance here for Angel to come for the upset. No, actually loses the duel when Flamey goes for the repeak. So fortunate there for HellRaisers. I mean, we set it up to be so great, but unfortunately it all falls flat. So 2 versus 2, great boost comes up. The bomb goes down, finds that frag, and obviously he's holding the angle. Angel's holding the angle with the AWP, but gets out-peaked by Electronic. So, I mean, what do you really say in that round? Aggression comes out from Na'Vi. Doesn't work out. Simple goes for the peak. Woxy finds the first frag. Suddenly you have Edward finding the frag when I believe it was DeadFox doesn't check the angle. Therefore, 4 versus 4. Edward throws at the Molotov, buys him enough time to then have Zeus come in and rotate. Goes 2 for 1, and the round's basically done.
Yeah, great reaction from Na'Vi after an awkward spot. Because while it's nice to have deep banana control, again, if you lose your supported player towards the top of banana, it's very scary if you don't have nades to bail yourself out if you're Edward in that position, right? You've got to hit your shot. So luckily he has Zeus there to make up for it. Na'Vi 15-6 on the edge of victory in map 1. And this is only 1 of 2. Although HellRaisers haven't put up as many rounds as I would have expected, Overpass could be a different story. We'll get to that when we get to that, because Na'Vi haven't won this game just yet. HellRaisers have a really good buy ahead of them, so despite not having that AWP, weaponry and utility is strong on this T side. Actually, not quite the same story for Na'Vi. They've expended almost all their nades, apart from on 2 players. Zeus and Simple, all that remains. But luckily enough, these are both A players, and that's where HellRaisers seem to be putting the pressure for now. This is pushed up out of the boiler. Bomb still dropped towards the, held towards the bottom and mid, so they can easily back off towards B if Na'Vi give up a pick. But Edward doesn't want to do so. He's a solo B player, so instead he'll just fall back to the site.
Yeah. Big issue here for Na'Vi is obviously Edward alone towards the B bomb, so only having a flashbang. Thankfully here for Natus Vincere, the real attack's going to come towards A. Do they go through the smoke? And yes, they do. Right into the crosshair of Flamey.
That's a big kill as well. Zeus needs to follow up. He's sitting in the back of the pit. The flashbang's perfect. It blinds his teammate, but it doesn't matter. Zeus makes up for the kill. Looking in for a little bit more, but he's not committing to any singular duels. Just trying to bait the push so Electronic can peek, and he will. There's another one from Zeus, and there's third.
I think finally. He dinked him in the air.
That will do. Definitely. Na'Vi take the map, 16-6. What a dominant performance.
All day. I mean, what have we had? 16-5, 16-5, 16-6 now, Na'Vi versus HellRaisers. And we were, you know, saying this is going to be the close matchup. Obviously, maybe a 16-11, a 16-10. I mean, I thought if... I said if HellRaisers lose the pistol, I expect a 16-9. So even then I was giving a few buy rounds, but actually it seems like we were a bit too, overzealous.
Well, Na'Vi looks very, very good. That's something at least to take away from that matchup. A team that struggles online, definitely an EPL. You know, they played the relegation matches at the end of last season, so the fact that they've come into their first official match of this season of Pro League and dominated the scoreboard is a nice sight to see.
It's a good showing as well in terms of the pressure's off their shoulders. No longer are they forced into this rut of, my God, what if we lose versus Godset? What if we lose? You know, all this sort of scenario. Get the win, they stay in Pro League, and now the pressure's off. Do they have the motivation now to really build up this roster to be, you know, a world contender, a world beater?
Like they should be, right? We look at this team and we look at the players and the names on this team. This should be one of the best teams in the world, you know, without a doubt. So I'd like to see 2018 be the rise of Na'Vi, but HellRaisers is a team that also had a very good end to the previous year, expecting big things from them. Obviously, this is their opening game. And we didn't really see anyone kind of step up with a massive performance. We had some nice rounds from Bondic, but I wouldn't say anything was too crazy from anyone here on HellRaisers' side.
Oh, this was clutch. I remember this one.
Last second. Pretty happy with that round.
And that's 1 of 6.
1 of 6. I mean, it didn't feel like the games earlier where we have LDLC putting up 5 rounds, and it just feels like a stomp. It feels like every situation they get into, they're not going to win. Despite HellRaisers getting only 1 more round than LDLC did in both their maps, I still feel like HellRaisers had their head in the game to some extent. It was just kind of the second half where it fell out of proportion, and Na'Vi just stopped it.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the CT side as well from Na'Vi, it felt like they always had control of the matchup.
Well, they didn't lose a round, so yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Of course it would feel that way.
9-6.
Yeah.
Both pistols won as well for Na'Vis. That might actually inflate the score, but even then, right, even if you take pistols out of the equation, yeah, definitely for Na'Vi. Played better on the buy rounds, as we saw, obviously 16 to 6, 10 round advantage. This was crazy as well. He actually gets, he gets 1 of the frags. Flame got the second, but he still gets the last 2 frags as well.
How did he get that 3rd kill on Voxic as well? He has an AWP, but he's walking up to pit. He knows who the player is, and MP9 to the face. That'll work. Either way, Na'Vi definitely flexing their muscles in the first game, or their first game of the day and of the season. However, we're going forward to Overpass. This is not a uncommon map for either team here. Expectations, just briefly?
Hopefully better showing. Obviously for Overpass, it's a map they play a lot in their online qualifiers. I mean, versus Mouse Sports, versus Go, you name it. It's a map that they like to play a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a strong map for themselves. I mean, obviously, bringing in Bondic as well, having Angel. One of the things I remember actually, when I rewatched, one of the demos I watched recently actually was actually Overpass from the likes of HellRaisers. And one of the things that really struck me was how important connector control is for Angel. CT side, T side, you name it. The defaults a lot of the time is going to be 2 towards A, 2 towards connector, 1 towards B, which is obviously rather strange. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see if they change that. Are they going to be staying on their heavy connector control, or are they going to switch it up and maybe play more of a default orthodox style of CS?
Well, we'll find out after the break. Stick with us for Overpass.
Incendiary out.